Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will learn about class and object, and you can refer my notes regarding to this tutorial that I have mentioned in a description. Okay, and these are the points that we are going to discuss. So first, what is a class, what is an object, how to create a class and how to create an object. I will explain all these points with the help of an example. Now let's get started. We know that Java is an object-oriented programming language. In a Java, everything is associated with classes and objects, right? So to learn a Java, we should know the basic knowledge about class and object. So let's discuss about what is a class. Now suppose you want to design a car. So for that, first you need to think logically about what would be the appearance of the car. That means what would be the color of the car, what would be the weight of the car, what would be the shape of the car and all, right? So basically you need to create a prototype of a car so that you can design a car using that prototype, right? Similarly, in a Java, if you have to create an object, then before that you need to create a class to create a certain object. So as a programming point of view, class is a prototype from which object can be created. And class can also be defined as the collection of objects because we can create multiple objects using a single class. Same as by using a single prototype of a car, we can design multiple cars. Now let's discuss about what is an object. Object is an instance of a class. That means object is a result that we get from a class. And each object has its fields, or we can say the characteristics and actions, or we can say functions. For example, mobile phone. Mobile phone is also an object and each mobile phone has its fields and actions. So fields like color, screen size, height, width, and the actions like ringing and calling. And one more point I have to explain here. When we execute or run the program, then first program will load into memory and then execute. That means first program will occupy some space into memory and then execute. Same as that of a water supply system. First water will load or store into a water tank. That means first water occupies some space into water tank and then supply or execute to everyone's house. Similarly, in a Java, during the execution of a program, first program load into memory. That means will occupy some space into memory and then execute. But class won't occupy any space into memory during the execution of a program, because class is a logical entity and we already discussed it that class is just a prototype. So basically class is work as a file in that we have to put our logic, and hence it will just be saved as a file on a hard drive. But object will occupy memory during the execution of a program, because object is a physical entity, because each object has its actions, right? That means each object can perform certain tasks, such as mobile phones. So mobile phone is also an object, right? And it also has its actions like calling, ringing, send data, receive data, etc. So basically in a Java, object is considered as a physical entity and class is considered as a logical entity. Now let's discuss about how to create a class. To create a class, we need to follow the syntax. And syntax is nothing but the set of rules that we have to follow to write the code. Same as other languages, such as English language. We know that where we have to put full stop, where we have to put commas and all, right? So basically, each language have its own set of rules to write. Similarly, in a programming language, there is a syntax that we have to follow to write the program. So to create a class, we can use following syntax. First, we have to write access modifier followed by class keyword followed by class name, and then there will be a opening and closing curly braces, and the area between opening and closing curly braces is called as the class body. That means class body is surrounded by opening and closing curly braces, and class body contain the class members. And by the help of class members, we have to write the code. And class members are fields and actions. So fields are called the variables and the actions are called as the methods. Now first we are going to discuss about access modifier. Access modifier controls the access level or scope of a class, and in a Java there are four type of access modifier. It's a public, private, protected and default, but we can use only two access modifiers for a class. It's a public and default. Suppose if I create my profile on a social media and set my profile as a public, then everyone can see my profile, right? Similarly, if we declare class with modifier public, then class is accessible or visible to all classes in a program. And if a class has no modifier, then it's considered as a default and it is visible only within its own package and won't visible to other packages. And the package is nothing but the group of related classes. I will detail explain about package in upcoming tutorial. For now, just keep in mind that package is a group of related classes. Now we are going to discuss about class keyword. Class keyword is used to create a class. Class keyword is a predefined keyword, or we can say a reserved keyword that Java provides us to create a class. So we can directly use it to create a class. And class keyword should be in a lowercase. Otherwise, compiler will raise an error. Because Java is a case sensitive language. In a Java, uppercase and lowercase matter a lot. Class keyword followed by class name, and class name should always start with uppercase letter, and then there will be opening and closing curly braces, and the area between opening and closing curly braces is called as a class body, and class body contain the class members, variables and methods. In this way we can create a class using a syntax. So we can write like this. First we have to write access modifier and it's a public. Then we need to write a class keyword and it should be in a lowercase. Then we have to write a class name and it's a test, and class name should always start with the uppercase letter. Okay, so test is a class name, and then there will be a class body surrounded by opening and closing curly braces, and class body contains the class members, the variables and methods. Now let's move on the next point, how to create an object. And we have discussed earlier that object is an instance of a class. That means object is a result that we get from a class. So to create an object we can use following syntax. First we have to write class name, and class name followed by object name that we have to create, and next to the object name there will be a equal sign, an equal sign followed by the new keyword. So new keyword is used to create an object. It is a predefined keyword that Java provides us to create an object. Okay, and during the creation of an object, compiler immediately allocate memory to an object. So we can say that the new keyword is also used to allocate memory to an object. And then next to the new keyword we have to write the class name, and the class name followed by the parenthesis, and it represent the constructor. So I will explain constructor separately in upcoming tutorial. For now just keep in mind that constructor is a special method that has the same name as that of a class. So constructor is used to give initial value to an object. That means when object creation takes place, then compiler immediately allocate memory to an object and give initial value, or we can say default value to an object. Okay, so here question is arise that what is mean by default value. So default value is the initial value that compiler give to an object after creation of an object, and default value might be 0 or null. So we can write like this: class name it's a test, and object name it's a obj, and then there will be a new keyword, and new keyword followed by the constructor. Okay, and at the end there will be a semicolon. So in this way we can create an object. Now see here, these are the points that we are going to discuss. First we will discuss how to create a class, and then we are going to discuss how to define fields and actions, that is a class members of a class, and then we will see how to create an object. After that, how to access class members using an object, and then we will see how to print values of an object, and at the end we will discuss how to create multiple objects using a single class. So first we are going to create a class. That means we are going to create a prototype to create a particular object. But before creating a class, let's think about an object that we have to create. Now suppose we have to create a phone object. So for that, first we need to create a phone class to create a phone object, because as we discussed earlier that class is a prototype from which object can be created. So let's first create a class, and to create a class we need to follow the syntax that already I have explained. So according to the syntax, first we have to write access modifier, and we can use two type of access modifier for a class. It's a public and default, right? But I want to declare class with public access modifier so that this class will visible to all classes in a program. So first we have to write the access modifier, and it's a public. And next to the access modifier we have to write the class keyword, and it should be in a lowercase because all Java keywords are in a lowercase. Then after the class keyword we have to write class name, and it's a phone. And then there will be a opening and closing curly braces. Okay, in this way we can create a phone class. Now let's think about what would be the fields and actions of phone object, because each object has its own fields and actions. So first let's think about fields. So fields of phone might be color of phone, screen size of phone, and all. And fields are nothing but the variables, right? That means we can define fields using variables. So let's define fields using variables. So for that we have to declare a variable to store data or to hold data, because in a Java variables are used to store or hold any data. So how to declare a variable I have already explained in a previous tutorial, and you can check it out on a link that I have mentioned in a description. So we can write like this: string color. Okay. Similarly, for a screen size we need a integer data type and screen size. At the end there will be a semicolon. In this way we can define a fields using an variable. Now let's think about actions of a phone object. So it might be calling, ringing, send data, receive data, and all, right? And actions or functions are nothing but the methods in a Java. That means we can define actions using method. Okay. Now we are going to declare a method. So how to declare a method I have already explained in a previous tutorial, and all links I have mentioned in a description. You can go through it. Okay. So we can write like this. So first we have to write the access modifier, and it's a public. And then there will be a return type, and it's a void. And then the method name, it's a ringing. Okay. And then there will be a method body. So here I am using a println method. So println method is a predefined method that Java provide us to print output on a screen. Okay. So phone is ringing. Okay. In this way we can define fields and actions using variables and methods. So our prototype is ready to create an object, right? Now we are going to create an object. So either we can create an object inside the same class, that is in a phone class, or we can create an object inside another class. Okay. So to create an object inside another class will be a good programming practice, as well as it will go easy for a better organization of classes in a case of big applications. Okay. So keep both the class separated. One for a fields and actions, and another for a main method and executable code. That means the code that we have to execute. So let's create an another class. So class, suppose test class. Okay. Now we are going to define a main method, because creation of an object occur inside a main method. That is, during the execution of a program, compiler first looks for a main method in a program and then start execution from a main method. So basically main method is the execution point of a program, and hence it becomes necessary to create an object inside a main method. So let's define main method, and main method is a predefined method that Java provides us. So we can write like this: public static void main.
Okay, now we can create an object inside the main method. So to create an object, we need to follow the syntax. So according to the syntax, first we have to write class name. Okay, and it's a phone, and class name followed by a object name. It's suppose phone 1. Okay, then next to the object name there will be a equal sign followed by the new keyword is used to create an object, and then there will be a class name followed by a parenthesis, and it represent the constructor. Okay, that is after the new keyword we have to write constructor. So in this way we can create an object. Now we are going to access class members, that is variables and methods, using an object. So to access class members, we need to use dot operator. Basically, dot operator is used to access members of a class. Okay. So first we are going to access fields, that is color and screen size. So we can write like this. First we have to write the object name, and it's a phone 1. Then there will be a dot operator, and then there will be a field that we have to access, and it's a color. So phone 1 dot color, and we can print values of an object using a println method. But before going to do that, first we need to store that value using a variable, so that we can print that stored value. So for that we need a string type variable. Okay, so string, suppose phone color. Okay, equals. Now we can print value of color using a println method. So we can write like this: system.out.println, and here we have to write the phone color. Similarly, we can write for a screen size. Okay, so in this way we can access variables of a class using an object. Similarly, we can access method. Okay, so for that first we have to write object name, and it's a phone 1. Then there will be a dot operator, and then there will be a method name, it's a ringing. So now I am going to run this code. Okay, so let's see. Now see here, phone is ringing, phone 1 color is null, phone 1 screen size is 0 inch. So these null and 0 are the default values that compiler give to an object after creation of an object. And we already discussed that when we create an object using a new keyword, then immediately compiler allocate memory to an object and give default value to an object, right? And hence we are getting default values as an output. And if we want to give our own values to an object, then we can give it. Okay, now see here, for that first we have to write the object name, it's the phone 1 dot field, it's a color, and then there will be a equal sign. Okay, and after the equal sign there will be a value that we have to give. Suppose it's a black. Okay, and same we can do for a screen size. Here we have to write equal sign. After the equal sign we have to write value that we have to give. Suppose it's a 5. Okay, so phone 1 dot screen size equal to 5 inch. Okay, now I am going to run this code. Okay, now let's see. Now see here, we have got an expected output. So phone is ringing, phone 1 color is black, phone 1 screen size is 5 inch. Okay, in this way we can give our own values to an object. Now see here, we will see how to create multiple objects using a single class. Okay, now see here, we are going to create another object of a phone class. So phone, suppose phone 2, and then new keyword, and then there will be a constructor. Okay, and one more object, suppose it's a phone 3. Okay, the new keyword. So in this way we can create a multiple objects of a same class. Okay, and we can give values same as a phone1 object. Okay, so phone2 dot color, and suppose it's a red. Okay, and same we can write for a screen size, 2 dot screen size, and suppose it's a 4". Okay, same we can write for a phone3 object. So phone3 dot color, and it's suppose blue. Okay, and same for a screen size. So phone3 dot screen size. Okay, and it's a suppose 6". Now we can print values of phone2 object and phone3 object using a println method. So we can write like this. So phone2 color is a phone2 dot color. Okay, same we can write for a screen size. So phone2 dot screen size. Okay, same we can write for a phone3 object. Okay, so we can write like this. Okay, now I am going to run this code. Let's see. See here. See here, we got an expected output. Phone is ringing, phone1 color is black, phone1 screen size is 5". Okay, then phone2 color is red, phone2 screen size is 4". And then for a phone3 color is blue, phone3 screen size is 6". So in this way we can create multiple objects using a single class. So it's all about what is a class, how to create a class, what is an object, how to create an object. Now I am going to end this session. So keep learning, and thank you so much for watching.